This video is part 4 in a series on a junkyard 5.3 LS teardown. This is not going to be a long video. I just want to point out some things. Like you saw in the last video, the engine was a long block, and since that time I pulled the oil pan off the bottom, and then I also pulled the cylinder head off the driver's side. And as it turns out, the cylinders aren't in that bad a shape. There's no major scoring in the cylinder bores. They're all pretty good. So I'm just going to clean this motor up probably and just run it with the same pistons and rings. At this stage though, you need to start paying attention, especially if you're a new engine builder. If you're trying to use my video as a guide on how to build an engine, you need to start paying everything I've taken off up to this point, except up to the cylinder heads. You don't have to really pay attention to how you loosen things up. But going forward, you start having to pay attention to what order you take bolts loose. For example, the cylinder heads, there's 15 bolts, and there's a pattern. This is 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. And you go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, I think 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I got that pattern off the internet. All LS motors have the same pattern, but basically when you loosen it up, you crack it about 1/8 of a turn per bolt in the right order, going backwards. You start at 15 and work backwards, or excuse me, 15 through 11 you just go ahead and do right off the bat. 10, you go 10, turn it about 1/8 of a turn, then move to 9, turn it 1/8 of a turn, and so on and going down in that order. And you keep turning them 1/8 of a turn till they're fully loose, and then you take it off. You do that so you don't warp your cylinder head, because when you torque it down, they can get warped easy if you don't follow the right sequence. And of course, when you put it back together, there's an entirely different sequence, or it's the same sequence but a different process for tightening the bolt. So of course I'll show that when I put it together. But I just want to make it clear that at this stage you take things apart in a certain order or a certain process so you don't warp things. So that's the cylinder head. I'm going to do the other cylinder head later tonight. I've also got the oil pan off. You can't see, but the oil pan's gone. There's what's called the windage tray. But I took one rod bearing cap off, and the bearing was in pretty good shape. So this engine may be in good shape after all. Just needs cleaning. But just want to show a quick video on where I'm at. Next stage is to get the harmonic balancer off. I got to run a tool to do that, and then I got to take the flex plate off before I get finish doing the bearings on the bottom and the crankshaft. But of course the cylinder head's got to come off first. You got to get your pistons out, and then you can get your crank out. So it's not too far off, but it's getting there. Your valve, your lifters, these are called your lifter retainers. These plastic things here, and they keep the lifter, not only keep it in the hole, but they also keep it from spinning. The lifters, like this is number 1, I think it's number 1 exhaust and number 1 intake. You want to keep these lifters riding on in the same hole they started in. So that's very important. So you put them in glad bags and number the bags, or you need to keep some system to keep them in the right order and put them right back in the same hole they came out of. It may not be so critical in a roller cam like this, but it's traditionally that's how I've done things. I've always put on a used engine, I always put the lifter right back on the same cam lobe that it was running on. So as things progress, I'll have more parts to this series, probably up to about 8, 10 parts, and where I've completely disassembled this motor to show you how to do it. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.